He began this fan or ring. The Coholden of Klein.
Vishe Courter.
He was a very shy, quiet, retiring guy.
Eshkukdul. Rosafal.
A great intensity.
Unique.
A genius, what else?
As long as young men will match their hunting skills against each other on Ireland's green fields. As long as young boys swing their commands for the sheer thrill of the feel and the tingle in their fingers of the impact of ash on leather. As long as hurling is played, the story of Christy Ring will be told, and that will be forever.
A bhór na bliana 1939, dimmer déagóir caol fiún ó Chlúin, a chéad chluiche le Corcaigh san Sraith Náisiúnta. In am trá d'aidigh leis 8 gréibh léireann agus cheithre Sraith Náisiúnta a bhuachant le Corcaigh, chomá le 8 ging déag de chuireann an bhór éiring a chuig go mún, ceithre créibh cúnta déag le fánathe na Gleanna, agus créibh pelle le Cumann Micheál Nefa. I mi der fór 1950 rugach Niklaus Christóir ó Ring ansá faoi bhun míle ó Chlúin in ar Corcaigh. Agus é fós in an líonán bhag an teilech go dtí Sráid Spital, in éis tá lecht do Ring mar a raibh an tig. Bhí Christóir annach lúil in a hismaitheoirí Niklaus agus Máire, agus bé a aithir ar amánaí le Chlúin, a bhúscail an dúil san amánaíochtán.
Nor bhí ahar Christóir ag dul go dtí cluichí móra sa pharc I Gorcaigh, de thógach sé Christóir leis, ina hí ar an bagad trasna ar an rothar. Sin trus cuiseach fada ná, agus trus trom do a bheith ar an rothar agus an leidóg an hí ar comá.
A munscoil Chlóna bhí Christy ina ghaltha éidir múil dá réide. An díchas a hispánach sé gan tip ar pharc na himmartha I sé sa léir agus ganéacha de.
Nuair bhí sé ar scoilig glónú bhí bé muris ospaláin an príomhide agus de chuir sé suas comán mar gúis den bhócail leis an rád is iarde sa scoil. Agus as gá scór agus fithe dalta de bhuaig Christóir an dúis. Is mós géal sa bhéalidas faoi chuna sa thug ring a scileanach an fuideachta, ach tá chuide go féal.
Nor bhíh sé ag cleachta, de bhí seantaigh in aice na páca himara ag clónua, bhí fuinóg anna bhí briste agus bhí chláraimid ar an fuinóg. De bhúla sé an slitar I gcuine na fuinóige, agus an sin dhéanach sé a ríis agus a ríis, chun é cur I náit speisialta ar an písa aimid. Chun an crinne sa bheithaige agus chun an scill sin a fiosú.
Bhí páirc amán na Chlúna díreach ar chúltaí Christy. Thugach sé gach nóiméad don lá a cleachta.
After Mass, after school, in the morning, in the evening, after matches. I had plenty of people to play hurling with, and plenty of help from the neighbours and the teachers, and the priests and everybody associated with the village.
He said at night time there'd be 35 people said out in that field. And he said you'd have to fight for a pocket of ball. You wouldn't get anything soft. He said because if you stayed around you wouldn't get a pocket of ball. He said you'd have to fight for it because there were so many fellas playing hurling and they were all mad for the, you know, it was a great hurling area, of course.
Bhí club Cumann Micheál ann asca dtí tús na druchadaí, faoin am sin bhí sraithe na sráide ann in imríoch Christy agus a bheith trethar Willie John agus Paddy Joe. Agus gan é ach cethir déag, dimid sé báire do hóisir Chlóna, agus nuair a bhí Clúin gan foireann, chuis sé le manisteir na corran. Bhrárá nóirí me nuair Corcaigh agus in 1938 do bhuaigh sé a chéad chréibh I léireann.
To be Christy Gimmert le fyrna menúri Corcaigh in sa lacúl screenlam go raibh poxéir an fé enw slat agus cé go raibh Christy Gimmert in sa lacúl Hánig sé sús agus a hóg sé an porc séir agus a fú sé cúl. Agus bhí sin an turning point fer mar défra sa cléthe.
In thar chorcaís na fihidí agus na tuchadí, bí an na mánaíocht an príomhchahabh aimsire dó gánig.
Buna é san is tócha agus an séla bhí muinte na túhan a chéan chud ar a déiring sé sin rá. Gan é an rachmas ráhúracha, ní ra bh nach na míochráá, bhí an agris citilachach dar ná an úachtar, agus bhí an náisiúnachas sa réim agus fé mar a hálíon, bhí tradiisiún láda náisiúnachas san chuid sin de corcaig agus tá fór san is tócha. Agus citilachach agus náisiúnaí dígruise go ba, Christóir Ring.
In Maile bheog ní a bhéon áit déad fá dul faoi ceilt, so mar sin dú can tú de bhí ar imacht agus ag tosna ag obair cólós is féidir mar sin dag sin scoil ag cardiaag, agus de bhí se sin mar rud bhí se á féach a gcónaí faoi sin nach raibh dachas ceartaige.
Tréis na bunscoile fuair Christy a chéad fast mar ábhar meicneora a minister na Corran. An san bhag sé go Corcaig, áit in ar eble sé mar himánaí, deire chuir sé le Irish Shell, agus níor bhada go raibh sé ar an seachadóir ola ó chailúla a gcuig go mún. Chuir sé faoi an árasán is ráid an chapel mhaí. Ach faoin amsan bhí sé tréis ceangal le fánathe ní leanna.
Hánig Christy Ring go dtí fan an gleanna níad é dahad a héin. Agus dimmer sé an bhfuir na bhóig an tochtú créibh an chun déan ag chéile. An bhfurin sin comá bhí Jack Lynch, Paddy Donovan, Jim Young, Dave Creedon, Connie agus Dinjo Buckley, agus a lán a mána héile bhí clú agus cáilre a Gorcaig agus timpeall na tíre ar fad.
The Glen has meant a lot to me. I don't know how you describe the spirit of the Glen, or more than describe the spirit of the Bells or the Rockies. Spirit of Clyne. Spirit of Clyne, I don't know. It's just that they have this tradition of playing the games that should be played, held and tough.
Knoche, Emerle Lawan, I never set the Lee on fire as a minor duce. And not the biggest again, not even the skill in a raw own to her father no ocean again. Ach fi sé foul im gachain law, agus gachain chlehe. Agus ní rimme sé a bhéint chluthe, nar álam sé rodéint ón bhar a bhí á ghaire.
Ba chumach cén tró ó na tháinig an slitar, nó an raibh sé san éir nó ar an dálamh bhí sé nán lámh seáil, smachtú agus a ráir a dhéanamh leis.
But the speed that he had for 20 or 30 years, he gave us, and he was 5 years and more, and beat us afterwards.
I Christy bhí neart úntaach, nrám lehan, cosa tean ládar, agus sláva haptach an lán.
Christy pulled the ball out of his bag and the ball was flying over my head, hitting the wall over on the left-hand side of me, and he was hitting it over to the right. And I said to Christy, what are you doing all this thing for? He says, well, he says, I always do this. He says, keep my eye in.
To bring it down to modern parlance, they're talking about diet and fitness and training and lifestyle. He had it all before ever anybody thought about it. Ringy was fit physically, mentally, morally, and he had dedication. He practiced consistently.
Láháin bhí mis agus mar bhí mark van timpeall híos a Glanmire agus bhí an lorry petrol parkáilteag ring agus bhí mála slitrige agus bhí sé tris Paulíanamh sa clí tí bheile an mhór agus bhí sé bóla slitter in íoch slitter isteach sa fáil. Agus sé dúirt methar lá, he's doing that in his own time, not in the boss's time.
Bhí an camánaige sa cab i gcónaí, agus gach seans a bheith aige, bheith an camán agus an líród an a lámh aige, agus tipping a bheith a bheith sé mar a d'irtar.
Líonanta gróman na Héigeandála lean tainmh gan tóra an amánaíocht. Bhí an ráthair amánathe chorcaí, ach bhí saoil cruaig ag na tacathe,
de bhíar ar Lochlanúna teistil ag rochíocht an tréin nó in éon slí gur féidir lá dáil chun teistil go dtí na clí agus roiir únta go bé an sprid a bhí ag na daine an síma bhí acu is na clí agus an decríocht a bhí acu chun bheith ann.
Bhí cluthe ceannis 19 a gcuine bhla clia, neach mí hásúil. Tuis gan galar crúb agus béal de fágach tipredáran agus cilchenig amachchas a gréibh. Bhí corcaigh demlíonna gan chréibh gan óthú, ach bhí fuireann láidir seanna chleachta chu sa cluthe ceannis agus arcoch nó in na lechas ar dheis ring.
Bhí sé compórda leis agus bhí sé ciún agus fócas mar défá. Agus ní chuireach sé sin isteach ar Christy in éair, go raibh sé gimet le corcaigh agus le mar óirí go raibh clú agus cála go hena féin. Bhí can éagna Christy bheith comá nó níos fearr ná aon duine díobh san réantlithe agus sin mar bhí sé giún blianta.
Bhuaigh corcaigh gan stró ar bhla clia. Nuair a bhí práing an galar crúb agus béal hart, dimriadar an créibh cluthe a bhí curthar a ló in aig hibridáran I mí deir a fóir. Rinneach siar as choraí na héireann. Dhéal corcaigh an cór le tibridáran na gréibh cluthe na mún in 1912. An san bhódar cluthe ceanna seile gcuine bhla clia agus bhí an dara bán I léireann ag Christy. Chur éantrim iontas ar chách in 1913, nó gur chur corcaigh stadleo san chluiche ceannis. Ní raibh ceithre créibh as I chéile buaithe ag éigní go dtí sin, ach d'éirigh le corcaigh anamh in 1914, tre bhuachan tar hibridáran, limnach, gailibh, agus ar bhla clia sa chluiche ceannis.
Christy was a great man playing with a great team. And they should have won 6 or 7 All-Irelands in a row. But in 44, they lapsed in 45 because they were fed up of winning, and came back and won again in 46.
In 1916, bhí sló mór a barca chrócaigh go rís, agus corcaigh is cilchenig le chéile. Bhí Christy ring leis ann agus córam nóid.
Bhí Christy mar captain ar corcaigh, agus sa bhód ar cuilcuinnig, agus dimar sé anna cléthe. Bhí sé go hónta gar fad, agus na clasna agus gagrúd a dhin sé, agus bhí Kilkenny mesmerised again.
Well, they cock were favourites for that, and you know the match wasn't going too well for them originally, and I think Kilkenny were maybe they were a point or two ahead of Cork, but then he was playing centre half forward, and the 40 as we said.
And Christy collected the ball just inside his own half. I'll tell you now how I got that goal. He said, Willie Murphy hit the ball out to me. They were around me like wasps, he said. And the only thing I kept running, and I decided to myself, well, I'm going in the right direction anyway.
He said he soloed about 30, 40 yards, and he looked around again, and there was nobody on him.
So I kept going, he said, and I got up to the round the 21, and it suddenly dawned on me, a ring, there's a goal in this field, if you wanted.
So he said, I let go a rasper of a shot, he said, and I blew a shower of water off the net.
That was his favourite description of that goal, the drops falling off the net.
Magic. That's an abiding memory, that goal, and I think to anybody that saw it, and it turned the game.
Bé an chéad cheann de thíchra bhéireann a bhuaigh ring mar chaptain. Farag na mórtha fáilte rompa bhaile.
I would have grown up hearing an awful lot about Christy Ring in relation to his exploits both with Cork and with the Glen, and this huge figure that you had in your head of a mythical figure almost as a young lad of man who had won 8 All-Ireland medals, and there was a huge, I suppose, ambition of mine to try and someday emulate maybe some of the status that he had achieved as a legendary Cork hurler.
Is sais tre an a bhór agus an speisialte ag an leach an gascíoch amána ná gus sahálan sé an lá nuair a ceapan dín eile gur an lá chailte. Ag puinte criticúil ára den cluthe Dinnan sé gníomh gal agus gasca a chuann oltacht ar gcuine agus a bhálan an lá. Agus sin a rud a rinringé níos má nóir a bháin. Ní héan úna mar sin go raibh sais í bhá iconic image on gashkig again is soul of winter Corky.
Tá picture sin a hóg Justin Nelson an a himúil. Tá sé fágan na park agus tá sé fiacan sé siar chuig McMackey. Sin nó tá táchtah leis an picture ná. Nuair a fiacan tú ar ring, cé có taní atá sé, cé có éatram atá sé, tá sé nós ar cosa. Cé go bhfuil lá das kind of bhfuil sé gortathe. Tá sé fós éatram stig sa sling. Agus tá cumán is flodáil in a láh aige. Agus tá sé féin a flodáil. Gná picture ná bín gohéine fiach na ngacáid, ach tá an sló go léir ag fiach ar ring agus Mackie. So a rís tá an riastra, you know, like riastra ó gach duine, go bhfuil tuigeann siad go léir, go bhfuil léach ag siúil in a mask.
When we were young, we read at school that in the days of yore, the young Satan shot his what with shield and spear of gold, as hurling hard in Rahil's sword, in red branch heroes fling. My soul today he gild sway if he met Christy ring.
Nédéag da hada seach agus bhí corcaig hana se barca chrócaig, bhí cilchanig leo a ríis. Áirítar an cluiche sin fós ar na cluiche a bar riamh.
The history of the G is with Cork and Kilkenny is that Kilkenny win all the classics and Cork win all the battles.
We planning Kilkenny in Moorham, the cabad of the grime Christy. You still go grab no Bert no bed the through a fannock there. Ma so they got Miché or dinner a one we and Dilela lined up con a tackle a curry shock or agus marshin there. Honestly heavy own in Moorham and clear a bad of Acame Reeve. We she gumbar go topic, we na skillen own, we she crewig. Agus Terry Leahy a wooing and clear the Kilkenny.
Have the breeze in this first half and press hard, but scoring chances go a-begging as forward...
Níor a bhean telefíseán chun achtraí ring a hafada, ach bhí trochtaracht filleta radio ó bhíhall ó Héireán.
But soon Cork come back into the attack once again.
Thug sesin ring isteach an ach cuinge sa tír.
Agus an gleo, agus an caint, agus an lús, agus an scléip bhí ag éiste le ring. Christy Ring has the ball, 5, 10, 15, 20, and it's over the bar. Agus no bheith bócant chorchaig duine rá. Oh God, he's having a bad day today. Agus mi hall here a bhí éiste go.
Bhí gach duine ag trúil a rud úntach ó Christy a gcónaí. Agus bhí mi hall ó here agus Christy Ring ar a hang ag a gcónaí ar a hang cléthe.
Tá meach bóbéidir ag Churchill, do Hitler, do Roosevelt, bhí sé bhaidní sa háachta í bheith éiste bócant ag Christy Ring agus corcaig ar an radio.
The Corkman there, Ring has it down his stick, he sends it across the goal, right out of the ground, here's the goal for Cork!
Har ein gemórtas eile in a rimmer ring, ba a greibh na mún a bar a léire sé a bhóna.
A sin Corcaig a gomsaí, Quain agus Baron a Clevelins. Lantar an líród, ach tá de bar a Harbóg a Corcaig. Sehuid Christy Ring agus cóleorí Corcaig a Bertó go búrtha.
Bhí an atmosfér úntach a buint leo, agus ar nói nuair a bheith Corcaig immer, a gcuine Portáigen ó gcuine Hebridáin, bhí atmosfér faoi lethe go bháil leo.
Bhíoh béimar immert anna dhéan timpeall an chúl. Cosantóirí go mórfa, ach nuair a bhíoh ringistigh in na measc, ní bhúr éan an lábhláid a riomh Christy Ring ó hebh nirte ná ó hebh hamánada.
I would say the average supporter wouldn't realise I was going inside the field. It can be tough out there.
You had to be fairly strong yourself and stand up. But then Ring was playing against probably the toughest fullback playing there was ever known, if you like, with fellas like McMahon and John Doyle, you know, and they didn't spare anyone, let's be honest about it, but he was really able to look after himself.
Tipperary were marvellous players, and they were Hell's Kitchen. They were, I suppose you could call it a war rather than a match, really, you know.
And there is a true story of one of the finals, and a particular referee was ready to throw in the ball, and Ring would always be at the head. And just as he was about to throw in the ball, Ring said to him, throw in the ball and get out of the way. In other words, this is between us and Tip.
Tip and Cork matches were something special. It was like going to war, even though it wasn't war. People came in an anticipation just to see something great, and they already got it.
Bhíoh gach cluiche ag Hebradár an Díon a chuig cluiche ceannis na mún in 1861 thar fóir ar fad. Gortaíocht tamalaachnaí agus de chuir cuid na túris georí an Milán ar Ring. Ach gach leis céalta agus taring ag ráite siar in íos sin.
Christy and I, we guess I got involved in each other on the ground, you know. And there was a few fellas got hit that same day, you know. But I really don't know who any of you, because I was too busy with Christy on the ground at the time. But when I got up anyway, I got a tip from Christy's early in the chin, and I cracked my chin bone, but that was it.
Hall Shamazal mar a hug me hall o'Hare. Agus bhí gatain ag brúisteach ar a chéal agus ag géirigh sort trid leithdáíar mar déirtha a dhéanamh agus búlag tamalaachnaí. Ach tá mise lán cínta de rudháin, níor bhúla Christy ó Ring malaachnaí a chorbe, mar bhí sé beagáin taobh den achtar féin. Ní is gom céhúla agus a cumas a díal níos céhúla, ach níor bheith Christy Ring an fear a bhúla.
Ring won 8 All-Irelands for Cork. And I have no doubt, it comes very easy for me to say to my own lads won 8 All-Irelands for me. There's no question about that. And I accept that. Because Ring he had got everything. He had got skill, he had courage, he loved his club and he loved his county and he died for him.
Is Queenlum lámháin in Nólas, Corcaigh agus Liminach, bhí Dennis Broderick ó Drumcollachar ag immert ar Ring. Agus níor a bhring a fáil faic. Agus dúirt Dennis leis an fearr bocht ósa dúirt sé, sin, dúirt sé scéallam, dúirt sé leis, Christy, you're having a quiet day. That's right, boy, sin.
But then Ring suddenly decided, this is going from us, I'll take charge, and he scored 3 goals in 2 or 3 minutes, 5 at the most. Turned the game from defeat into victory. Unbelievable. Only one man could do it.
3 goal. Agus tháinig Christy leis dúirt sé, didn't so quiet now.
No Cork is bet, they saved, the 1,000 swiley sing. Oh, they speak too soon, my sweet garçon, for here comes Christy Ring.
There are many big occasions in the calendar of national events.
In 1852 agus Ring ar thóir bán i léireann den sé ó thuair, bhí a mánathe bhleá cléas sa tlí a ríise.
We are here at Dubliner Ferguson and Cork hero Christy Ring have one of their many clashes. Dublin are in trouble now. Ring to Dowling and bang! There goes the first goal of the match. Gradually the Munster men are asserting the superiority. Christy Ring sends over another spectacular point.
Pointe eile ag Ring, craobh eile ag Corcaigh agus fáilte eile áthasach chun a Loch Leanúna. Bhí takeithe Corcaigh sa teola ríis in 1853, agus Christy na chaptéin i léireann don dara thuair.
Between Munster champions Cork and the men of the West, Galway. And Cork skipper Christy Ring leading his men.
An chaile bhíle Corcaigh agus bhí an cluiche Harveh Díon agus fíochfar ar Uiribh.
Duggan saves, but the crowd tells its tale of a goal sent in by Josie Hartnett. A dropping ball, the clash of the ash, and the ball is in the net again.
Chairigh achtré Ring le Corcaigh an cluiche bhuachint, cluiche a leiteach le conspóid in a dhéisisin.
Captain Christy Ring is on the Hogan stand to receive the coveted cup.
Galway the 50s were very physical, strong men. And it wasn't pretty to watch. Cork and Galway in 53, it wasn't pretty to watch. And obviously something happened.
Bhí sé cís a garf, agus láirtar go fóil achtra éigen na hála idir fearna Galí, Mickey Bork agus Christóir ó Rian. Ag an nám de bhí Christy boc amach a dró láir na páirci agus cé go raibh Corcaí chun tosig ní raibh an cléthe búite go riamh. Ner a báire de bhuaigh Corcaí géach bhí a lán cainte mar eall nachtar a siúd nóair a búileag Mickey Bork beidir gur búileag daoine eile comá.
Péra de hála de ring agus Mickey Bork ar a bark, chimad an vet chapte an chucha féine, agus níor phléig ceachtar a cog a peblí riamh. Ach níor chuine na dó gherig Klausúr ar an gnáascar, lean sé agus an bua á cheilúra an Óstán Gresham.
At the top of the steps, there was 6, 7 Galway players, and as we went up the steps, one of the players hit Christy Ring. There was a bit of a melee for 5 minutes, and the then president, I think it was Vincent O'Donoghue of Waterford, stopped the whole thing. And it ended there. But the following morning, we were at breakfast in Barry's Hotel, waiting to go home. And again, 5 or 6 Galway players came in. One of them made a swipe at Ring. A general melee ensued again. But as it did, it stopped just as quickly.
I think they went across the road and they were kind of standing with. I think someone gave them a bit of advice that the best thing to do would be to go away altogether.
In 1944 bhí Lochgarman na Corcaig sa chluiche Canis. Hánig an sló ba bhór riamh beag nach 85 míle duine go páirc a chrócaig.
Chumar isteach agus bhí Sidona gamsa agus 2 ham sandwiches and the Cop weekdays anra over Cadbury's column mar a defa agus da búntacha láis sin Corcaig agus Lochgarman. Bhí féchant ar an sa chun me gás féchant ar Ring gan áras. Willie John Daly, fear beag sin Carrick Tuhill, the Wreckers, oh man, Cohollan and his partners.
Agus cé go raibh a lán cainte faoi Christy Ring agus thóir bán iver hocht, hí na daoine cainte Nick Racker comá thóir a chéad bhain. Bhí seo únta gán sal hosnig an chleithinéachtar. Sort carnaval bhí ann.
The spotlight was truly on Christy Ring.
Bhí Ring a lár an carnaval thóir a hochtú bán, rud nár bhuaig aon duine riamh. Ach bhí a sprug féin ag Lochgarman. Bhíidir súd gan chraibh hinseoach a léireann ó 90.
All Ring's strength was his arms and his wrist. That's where his greatness was in his brain and in his wrists. He used a very heavy hurl as far as I know, but they said when he'd pull, it was different anyone else pull. And if you hadn't your hurl, a good grip of the hurl in your hand, it would sweep out of your hand.
Bhí isagin dá mútha Christy an lá sin, go meach rud aige nach raibh géan ó mána í riamh, go meach 8 mán ile éarnaige. Agus teachta dró dear an chleithe, gairig le Christy Ring anna chúlí na scóráil, ó héamh ardán ó thógáin den báid, as de bhúil sé ó héamh na láimh ag clé, as nuair a cheolann slite haran trasnáin, de chasma chara seán chúms agus dúirt sé, sin sláán Christy Ring le hamán. Cahad ó hiscin go raibh sé ceithre bliain agus trucaig an ann, ach mar a dúras hena, fearar lethe bhí ann, bhí sé fósa go máin 10 bliain a níos déana í, ní hamháin le fána hen gleanna agus le Corcaí ach le cúige mún.
Saying well done to Cork, but also to Mr. Hurling himself, Christy Ring, who now has the unique record of having won 8 All-Ireland medals.
Siad na 8 mán i léireann críleár cnúsach Ring. Sa chiiste sin leis tá buing ons ranna siúnta, ó charna bhóthaí Ring, ó chraibh Corcaí agus ó na scórtha tournamentí. An nó, ní gá buing chana ard chumas a dhéanú.
Dúirt Paddy Tars leis uair a bháin, nuair a bhí Christy Thresh a bhéanú céan chuí a bhór sé scór ítach, dúirt sé, "God, you're not very modest, Christy, are you?" Agus dúirt Christy, I am. Dúirt sé, to be modest is not saying you're no good when you know you are. It's knowing how good you are and what your weaknesses are.
Cuinom se scéal faoi lead óg de fór se áid a bhuiin Corcaí ar an líne tuis raibh duine ag an gorta. Agus ní raibh sé rómhaith le ach fuair sé áid agus bhí sé beagnach cinnte go bhaid sé ar a medal. So maidin saran de bhris sé a rútín, de bhris sé chola chuise.
Agus é chuoine ar nóg go raibh sé an míámúr bhí tréis taga ar agus ná raibh sé míárbhachan is go gaith sé bheits an ospedéal fada sa bhéchan an fuan hús sam le clí agus mar sin de. Agus bhí Christy a cóid bháig leis.
Agus Christ go bh nóma dúirt ring ciúnas níos bhhacail. Agus deir sé bhí níos measa. Dúirt sé, nanam deol Christy chunas a bhíoh deir sé bhí níos measa. Deir ag mis sé bheits a lebán in an na tusa. Agus de stop sé láir ag bán, de stop sé an god, stad an god. Mar bhí sé tréis an íringe de chloisint. Agus chun an íringe ruig ar an raméis.
He didn't suffer fools gladly, no, that's the truth. He was tough to play with. If you made a mistake, he wouldn't take it too easily. I remember playing one day out in Mallow. We played Avondhu and I pulled on the ball and it went inches wide and he roared at me, why didn't you pick it up?
You know where you stood at Ringy, and if you were doing your best, he appreciated it. But if you weren't, you heard about it too.
Bhí sé tharnáis lá an éananig den deithúir agus den óidhéireanach. I gluthe ceannis sárbhá le Loch Garman.
While Tony O'Shaughnessy, Daly, Ring and Philpott are in the forefront for the rebel county. Christy Ring from a 21-yard free opened Cork's account. A close-in 21 yards free. Who else but Christy Ring? He lifts his strikes and it's in the net. Cork are on the way back. And before we could draw our breaths, he had calmly palmed the ball over the bar for another Cork point.
Bhí Ring in order im chun scórála go dtí Sárú Art Foley agus ar an crutha láimh a caiiliúil.
Bhris Ring isteach. Bhí slit an láimh again, ní raibh sé a chuig slát fethead nó mar sin ó an gúil. Agus díreach agus é chun é a bhúra, tháinig Paddy Barry trasna beagáin ar. Agus cé gur bhúil sé an slitar ní raibh sé róláide, agus stop ar fólaí é, lena láimh.
The Ring isteach in a róg sa chéine hálam an díal chud a hálógan is as de chras sé láimh leis. Agus de chuir me sé ceist ar Christy cén fá. Great save, dúirt sé, agus mean go gáil
Dar le art, ní hiad sin na focail dósáid Ring leis sin éair.
Sárú Art Foley an crutha láimh sin agus an cúló Nicky record de bhuaigan cluiche Loch Garman. Hánig díomh ceann den an bharca na benecha tíanta dá bhacatha suíomh ag deireadh cluiche ceannis i léireann. Ghoil Island werd chalamnach, Nick O'Donnell agus Bobby Record Ring den far.
They lifted him on their shoulders. They carried him a bit off the field. Like I never saw it in any kind of sport. I never saw a gesture like it in any kind of sport.
For lifting and striking, for doubling like lightning, for points or goal scoring, his praises will sing. His hurling's most glorious, he's always victorious. His Cork's darling hurler, the bold Christy Ring.
Bhí irid clúar Ring mas gael har lár is a bhí ag baile. Hagach na slóite féchan tar America, bechuma é bheith gimmert de chorcaig, nó den chlán nó a gluhí spáintis.
Nóir bhí sé i nuamhrach bhí an fáilt ar fad ó sa cóir. Agus bhí daoine cáiliúla an cosúla árbhéire ó nuamhrach, agus Bobby Kennedy fear cáiliúil eile, agus de bhí an saoil ar fad ag na daoine ann agus an scléip agus cuileróid mar sin nó bhí sé an bhain sé an tenabhas ar fad.
The night before we came home, there was a big send-off party for us, and before the night was over, the Cork people got Christy on the middle of the floor in the dance hall. And as many as could left their hand on him, tapped his head on his shoulder and held his hands and all the rest of it. And they sang the banks. I don't remember anything as emotional. It showed what they thought of Ring that night. I never forget that.
Fi part fad heilig staroel hanna barte ag ring a gordon an voher earring. Se dere vi 8 maun deagige, rodnar harle rev hanna, agus ta haring ich se na mílte go parka chrokig lana padrig, bliana eg bliana.
The people came down especially from the north of Ireland just to see Rini playing. We met them there. And over the years, he was at his best somehow, and we had a cup there.
Ach de ceapas a gcónaí go raibh gan leithige de chomórtas an bmhóthir íorn. Mar bhíoh daoine os na cún de héile sa bhuain a cabhrú leis. As déan gur haithinn sé sin leis, mar bhídí sin naigi chéile agus beidir in naircha chéile go minic ar a barc, as buiasé dar leis, bheló mar chumbáin ag an sin ag immert a cúige món.
Ceirg sé glendar I grína slúta a bhíoh látharach, agus íag fécint ar na skillne a bhí chuna dúrach ige I nach berta thugad sé fé. Bhí sé có aclí le éon ring cór agus ring cór a bethé.
Sa glyfa seo bhí an bhuain go mór an tusaí agus ring hain ró sé ceile chúil agus cúig cúlíní. Tá sé fós bhád an cín ar na hománaí eile sa tír.
Lean tunnachar Christy fósins na seascadí, nor a dáit gael in pártachlacha a scanán a léirócha skillene. Scanán gref antar nor a dáilech go náisiúnta.
Sé dúirt Christy ón tús go gaffaí I seo dhéanamh I gceart. Ní raibh simige san scanán mar méir sé dianta chaid an áard. Agus dúirt sé lomsa nach méing sé éilte chun an scanáin is stúrú mar a méing I nán na strokes ar fad a dhéanamh mé héin. Bhí intellect angéir ar fad ag Christy agus thosa sé a déanamh anilís ar an gluiche na strokes ar fad a bhí a gceist. Agus de bhris sé síos iad cho sin plí san go raibh sé an mé héin ó bhúna agus go raibh mé an iad ar fad a dhéanamh. Agus bhí is agam an son cé an angel o úsáids le gach éon rud a thógáil leis a gamra.
Maidir leis na scíalna ní nachúna de hesigh ó Louis Marcus go a Spáineach go léireoch Christy na scíalna so go léir ag gluthe comá. Agus bhí corcaig agus bhí droir na corcaig in ann, bhí ar gimmert I gcuine chubardáran. Hís barcí chuomar tuachtar na sér golóní íosan agus bhí mar ann.
Fu sé tá mé ceappa gá chúl agus gáú trí cúring sa céad le. Agus ag lechama thuair mé isteach ar a barc chun cóáid agus sorá leis agus that was great, Christy, thanks very much. Agus dúirt se le I'm sorry, I go do no more. Bhí an stíl sin ag an tíre mé fad bhí ag go rád échtach fight amach ige ach níhéarh sé sin, you know. Bhí Christy an chúlach ar bhealaí áirithe agus bhí sé soléir gám ag an premier son san sa bháinna ins léhananta son bhí 2015 daoine láthar na rud a cuint.
Bhí sé gé go raibh écht díanta go raibh anas ganán díanta sé sin léirú na scíalna bhí gé agus bhí seanna háart an lásan agus bhí sé a caintle go chéinge.
Trí bliana fihid treis sé chéad chluthe le sinseir chorcaí. Dimmer sé den óidearig sa chréibh an 1962. Agus sér an amáníocht chruógach idir chunta landring a gimmert lena chlab ag an levéle bíirde. Ach treis chluthe cearú ceannis le chláiste an anscoil le corcaig methomh 67. Deir sé as go haban.
We beat them that day and we were ready to play the semi-final. And I got a call on the Sunday morning. I was selector and I was told Ring wasn't playing. So the first thing I did was headed down to Avondale Park in Blackrock. And he came out to the gate to meet. It was a lovely sunny morning. And I said, what's wrong? He said, I can't play. And when he said that, you didn't question it. I said, are you sure? I am. He said, I can't play. That was it. That's the way he bowed out of hurling.
Las mod an amánaíocht de chaibhne sé a héal príomháideach le Rita agus lena leanaí, Christy óg agus Máire. Níor ól sé ná níor chatabach riamh agus ba bhuair aige a cheadamh.
There's 8 All-Ireland medal is on the chalice inside in St. Augustine's. Now that's something to give away your 8 All-Ireland medal. But I do know that he was very, very charitable. And as I said earlier, if you had him as a friend, you had a friend. A very, very good friend.
The V-sides had to go into Christy Lumsa near away, had to go into Lumsa Christy. A Dave Tikedi go crave na hair. Near Omer Car Duel, if I made a dear for a go Trevsha. In Erin Adala, the Viorum Sedulga Hospital, agus ní raibh mé ar fónamh, agus an céad duine a tháinig seach go dtí an ospidéal ná Christy. Ní duine mé de rúd sin go deo.
Níor fréig spridna hamuochta Christy riamh, fiú agus é éirithe as.
Mar dimmer sé tlíhí eile in a dheoch sin, agus ní éiteach sé, he couldn't bend the knee to anyone. Sin mar a bhí sé. Ba cór go meach an búig he ach muna meach ní fiú é. Sin an aigna bhí é gcónaí im húrum.
He was a very shy, quiet, retiring guy when you met him off the field. Except when you started talking hurling, you know, he had an amazing hurling brain. And the problem was it used to race so quickly that a lot of us guys would be falling behind him. We couldn't keep up with him. But he did have a sort of a very pronounced habit of, when he got caught up in a conversation with you, to emphasize a point, he would stick his finger here on your shoulder, you know, Gerald boy or whatever. And I tell you, you'd walk away after talking to Christy Ring for 10 minutes and you could be black and blue.
Chimad sin ceangal de fán hanig leanna mar ránóir, agus bhí sin a ránóir leis ar báil ag sínsir chorcaí.
Tá an éise gom mariolir an clí ina raibh Christy in an cluthe de bheas agus fécant cá raibh líge ar an gluthe nó bheoh léir siúil cá raibh líge ar an bhuin agus áthróí anamh chun é sin a stop agus chun é de catú.
Bhí sé fécant ar a gluthe cosúla fear a léamh leabhar. Ben ring. Bhíoh sé léamh clé agus bhí Jimmy Barry nefh sig go má nechrige ach dúirt ring lumsa bhí. The Lord said, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. You can't legislate for genius.
I was on the wing and I was on the periphery of the game, really couldn't get involved. I think they decided to make a switch at some stage and try me at centre forward because I really wasn't in the game.
Agus go tré an dúirt Christy, tá líge ar éan loch armin, agus ní féidir le duine go bheith deiscint. Táimse chun Barry Murphy a harú.
I did not Mick Jacob, who probably was tiring after playing, you know, a hard game at centre back. I hadn't done anything for up to that point. Luckily enough for me, after that, I got a few breaks, got a few points, and managed to turn the game round for Cork.
Ní raibh scóir ná agléir an túirim a bhíige an nochta. Mar a bhíon ar riine eile de chnoch ar in an bliana, agla nach na brókse. Bhí an misnachaige túirt fé.
It was Christy who, you know, came to me after the match and said something like, that was I know that's which could win the match for us, or words to that effect. It was all new to him as well in relation to the homecoming as regards the younger population who were following the team at that stage. I think he was actually slightly embarrassed that they were still focusing on him rather than on the team, and the chant went up from the South Mall. Of course, we want Christy, and he was very shy about coming out onto the balcony.
Dífri Christy de Frank Murphy stoilm, cad é déir sé, ní léanú de rá gomsa dúirt sé. Agus de bhfuil Frank dó an son, aber lo go móhi mé cericín in ige chéile. Agus dúirt Christy, ní a brói mé sin in échar sé, ní thuirí mé éon ólas dóibh ar na plans atá gaoin.
Ní rah tíching as a chéile buite corcaigh ó bhí Christy ag imirt. Nuair a dhéanadar álaigh in 1968 bhí sé na rán óir. Bé a thoras deireanach fáil go chróca gé.
Ceapam gur fiar a rá gur tháinig sé go fáin an gleanna gan éon fos. Dúirigh sé as imirt gan éon fos freisin, agus fiúmháin nuair a bhór sé bás, déalaigh sé óin go deas ciún.
Rathe héal fada imartha ba vinnice animint na Kinglínte. Faréir chud a bhás oban Marta 1968 inis a cai go hocht. Har neis ins na Kinglínte. Bun an droscéile stadas an déir fad go háirithe as maintir chorcaí.
Fu me gléach go rá sé mar a rodnar a bhéithing a haulú agus a creidúint. De chúla mé in dhé sin gur rá Jack Lynch a bhealach eis isteach go corcaig sa chár stáit. Agus gur stopú ag ecobáid cailúil agus gur oscail Lynch an ineog agus gur inis an ecobáid dó gur rá Christy marmh agus dúirt Lynch, oh no.
I was coming back from Dublin to Cork by train. I didn't know until I arrived in Cork station. And I felt there was an eerie silence around the station. There were people talking in groups. And I heard the news. And I compared the silence in the station to the silence that I heard in Cork City the night John F. Kennedy died.
Ring to be dead was like myself to be dead. It was like a slice of one's childhood, one's manhood, and one's heroism if you had it, from Ring, because we all shared in that. He wasn't on his own. Those men who went out and horrored for the little village, we share that. We're part of it. And Kickham was right about the little village. When Ring died, a lot died with him.
The way that the people turned out, the people of Cork, turned out when the coffin was leaving the city down to Cloyne for the burial, it was unbelievable. It showed, you know, just how much Cork people really loved Christy Ring.
Is tócha a rís go raibh oltacht Ghuine gur caiileaga có Hoblinson. Ach deirtar árítar go raibh sús le 50 mhíle I láthair ag an socrid.
Bhí sé go súil leis socrid trealach nach sibhne. Ach, you know, bhí sé go héine go raibh ré hart, you know, agus bhí sé mar gréan agus mar solas, agus mar sais cuis le bheithe sa rééis sin.
As long as young boys swing their commands for the sheer thrill of the feel and the tingle in their fingers of the impact of ash on leather. As long as hurling is played, the story of Christy Ring will be told, and that will be forever.
Chóisteach íon marblan. Sníor bhéingestíigh ach cailín ó ben. Níor bhéon aigom sé an hainehnig sin ormsa. Ach trééis tamar dúirtí dúmbeisiarm. Tis a sinna dúirtí, to bury that man. Bhís árásan le seán ó tuama agus golóní an bhí dá an scrítige mar jaolir. Dúirt benóst cún na chuirp trábháis an abaig ó bhór an peca an fers an eilecha. Ach ní dhéach éinge gine a bhair fé brucht Christy Ring leaga uinge bún fé las I meas mé roiltí na seanna bhutas. Mar ó na miúiltíoch an mar dáíre sa chuúnt an ós fé luinir far bhór gach dánach gíras saora a báid.
There'd be no question about who was the greatest hurler. Ring he had everything and he wanted to win. And he was the man that you dreaded. There'd be no doubt in my mind whatsoever, but Ring was the greatest hurler of all time.
Ní acha mé aine cosúil na Cristóró Ring. Im húrum ní bheigad a bhád an ríis nó le héad an ríis. And then about the Vaka Mary, we got or we got road again.
There's something that comes around once every 100 years. I guarantee you that. I haven't seen anything like him. No, I don't know. I don't believe I will ever see anything like him.
Some people say Mackie was Eddie Kerr. Eddie Kerr was a great man. But I have to give it to Christy, number one. Always did.
He would be remembered for his hurling ability, for his skill, and the enjoyment in particular that he gave to the crowds. He'll always be remembered. He will never be forgotten. There was only one Christy ring, and there'll never be another.
By Mion Christy, liggend dan amonicht laut er hun. Las modern boy kvishe urishel. Skriv she tra. Let no one say the best hurlers belong to the past. They're with us now, and better yet to come.
I played for a lot of years, but I felt I'd done enough, and I'm sure I have, really, from the point of view that you should have somebody else here today instead of me. It's about time they stopped talking about me.
Tipperary, Limerick, Clare, almighty hurlers there, Robert break they all upon the rock of Clyne, where our darling hurler rose, deadly terror to his foes. Say a tribute to Glen Rover's Christy ring, and although he's light and small, he's a great...
Agus bígíling gon clifa canis pelle fui fi hían idir corca agus muo a marach ag learhéis it srí. Ach fós le heachta nacht liam nísan ag lacapáts a glyfa dorna lecht a mí leach sa scan an the big man a nacht ag fiche chuna hían.
Tipperary, Kilkenny, Benjourney.